nerderotic.com.
Hey! Sound like James Hetfield there. Hey! Metallica! What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And somewhere around San Diego right now. And we're going to talk about some things and stuff, including the giant L Hollywood just took. I'm still basking in that. That was very enjoyable. Yet, predictable. It was absolutely predictable. All the award shows have been failing. And no, there wasn't a lot of movies. And yes, there was the coof. I don't think that had much to do with it, to be honest with you. It was, I went back and watched some of it. Man, I'm sorry I did that. It was a complete waste of time. They did try to make it cinematic. Was it Steven Soderbergh? Ocean's 11. I love Ocean's 11. It's a great movie. But man, it was pretentious. And we live in a different world now. And I don't think Hollywood quite realizes that. We're also going to talk about LeVar Burton and cancel culture. I didn't put it in the title, but, you know, Gina made her comeback on that. I don't even know what the name of the show is, to be honest with you. Some reality show where, and that's good that had been taken down. And apparently you can find her toys now in Walmart. I saw that Umbrella Guy found one. I think Clownfish TV found one. They're out there in the wild. I think they're just trying to get rid of them at this point. We also have some House of the Dragon. Not that anybody gives a crap about Game of Thrones, and that's the whole point. But they have started filming House of the Dragon, and we got set photos of Matt Smith. That's right. Playing a Targaryen, a rather badass Targaryen. But are you going to give a crap? I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story. It's from, out of all of the A Song of Ice and Fire books, the history books, Fire and Blood is the worst. And that's what it's based on. And I'm just going to remind everyone like what that book did to the series, both television and book series. So as you're watching this, just keep this certain thing in mind that we're going to get to. But first, let's see who's here. We're going to talk about some other stuff too. Maybe some California stuff or whatever you want to talk about. And some Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm sure. I'm working on the review right now. It should be out tomorrow morning. Along with, I think Friday morning or Saturday. I'm pretty sure it's Friday morning is going to be my super cut, super chat square up. That's finally going to come out. Oh, did I forget to turn on the mic? I thought I did. Yeah, I turned on the mic. Are you guys not hearing it? I don't know what sound here. Let me see. Let me make sure you're hearing it through the right thing. I'm just seeing it in the super chat now. So I thought I set that up. No, it should be fine. It should be fine. Hail to the Modrotics. We got Neon Wolf. We got Eric K. We got John Galt. We got Katina Martin. We got Joel Race. I'm going to have to slow this down now. It is going way too fast for me. We got Father Christopher Miller. How are you? We got Dana B. Lord Thoth and his wrench. JD Cox. Pinhead. Dark Shadow Logan. Film Lars. What's up? And we have Stetson's Gold. Captain Flintlock Bastard and his wrench. Keely Chow, Hairless Primate Productions. Oh, would that be human beings? Niederland Egg or Niederland Egg. Anti-Derivative Jill. Post Sing. And Trident A. Poll. Oh, Dan Vask, I need to email you. I'm going to email you after the show. I meant to email you before the show, and I didn't. And I'm sorry about that, but I'll email you after the show. Got some exciting things happening. Very exciting things happening. Yeah, it should be a good Friday Night Tights. Yes, I did a Chrissy Meyer interview, and she posted that last night. I was out and about. Yeah, I guess I could tell you. I went out to dinner last night. It was very toxic. It was a very toxic dinner. It was me, Drunk 3PO, and Ryan Kinnell at an Italian restaurant, and then we hung out at the house. We had visitors. It was pretty damn cool. It was, Drunk 3PO infiltrated my studio, tried to cut a video. I stopped him. He was going to try to put it on my channel too, the bastard. Isn't it enough that, it was a great honor to have dinner with the guy who had dinner with Gina Carano? I got to say, I felt like I was amongst greatness. Hail Gina Carano, by the way. Hail Gina Carano. But yeah, it was a good time. We had a good time hanging out, talking about things that we can't talk about here. Ever. So, as people roll in, let's take a look at our first article. And should we hit the Tim Pool thing? I don't know. I mean, I probably should wait until I hear Tim's words on this and see if there's like a tongue firmly planted in cheek. You can let me know in the chat, but we're going to go bounding into comics. We're going to go into bounding into comics here. And we have... Now, I don't know if this was stated. Well, let's go over the article because I don't know if he stated this before he saw the end of the series. It was prior to episode 6, but it was pretty woke before it hit that. There was some mixed messaging, and I won't disagree with Tim on some of it. But you got to remember that this was made basically a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So it wasn't made with today in mind. And that's why you don't want to pull things from the headlines because it dates your material, especially when your material is delayed. So we got Tim Pool explains, and I've got nothing, Tim Pool can have his opinion. Absolutely. And I'm sure we disagree on a lot of stuff, and that's fine. That's okay to do. Tim Pool explains why he thinks Disney's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is anti-woke. YouTuber Tim Pool recently claimed that we already read that one, John. Pool posted on Twitter, "The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is anti-woke, and woke leftists are pissed." He added, "They now realize it's a show about a black man beating Antifa with the American flag." If he actually beat them, but he didn't. He refused to fight them, and he agreed with their cause. It was actually Sharon Carter who defeated Carly at the end. Because, again, Sam refused to fight her and talked on the phone, met with her in person, talked with her on the phone. Bucky talked with her on the phone. But yet John Walker, cold shoulder. Fellow veteran, was at the same war that Sam Wilson was at. Sam Wilson being a former counselor to veterans, completely acting out of character. For research purposes, I mentioned this yesterday. While I cut my reviews, I try to go back, and if something comes to mind and I want to reference an MCU film or something, I go back and watch that scene because I own them all. So I go back and I wanted to watch a couple things in Winter Soldier, and I ended up watching the entire movie. And it has been it's been about 2 years since I've seen it. And I've seen it 5 times. It's the the best MCU film, right up there with Guardians of the Galaxy. I both think they're the best, obviously. And wow, how's the MCU fallen? It is night and day.
And tonight's winning number,
What the hell?
43.
Yes!
God damn. Fucking, why did I say Tim? I meant to say John. And your fucking ads. Don't do that shit, right? Because see, now I can't go to your freaking website if you got playing ads like that, dude. No fucking way. Now I can't get an ad blocker too because it'll mess with my streaming. Not until I get my new streaming software, which I'm going to get. So we'll just read the, I'll have to go back and get rid of all those ads. Give me just a second. Jesus Christ, bounding. That is some annoying shit. I know you got to make your dollars, but dude. Get rid of that. And hopefully I got rid of that. There we go. Get rid of that. Yeah. Unsolicited advice. Don't do that. Boom, boom. There we go. Now it should be okay. We're going to get to that article in a second. All right. Apologies for the interruption. All right. So here's the tweet from Tim. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is anti-woke and woke leftists are pissed. And then it says, yet another example of the MCU's antagonists who would be heroes if not for their bloodlust. The Flag Smashers also carried with them the aesthetics and evocation of Antifa. Never mind that Antifa and the Flag Smashers have little in common outside of the preference for black clothing. In Falcon and Winter Soldier, they looked and behaved exactly like the kind of imaginary anarchists Fox News uses to scare racist geriatrics. So there's some age, calling out racism by using ageism. Fantastic. The logic of some of these twats. For one, it's not good to use Twitter as an example of pretty much anything. I don't know. I can't see who this count belongs to that he's sharing. It's probably anonymous. So yes, they were trying to evoke Antifa, and they have a lot in common. They blew up buildings. They killed innocent people. I think there's a lot in common there. Just my personal opinion. And they also have no clue what they actually want. So I think they're really pretty damn close. The Flag Smashers wanted free stuff, basically, and they wanted to continue to get their free stuff. And when their free stuff was taken away because the people who it belonged to came back, they had a problem with it. So they wanted to kill people. Now, their ultimate goal was to stop a vote and to bring the world back to where it was prior to the blip with an extra few billion people on the planet, a couple billion. We don't know what the population of the fake Marvel Cinematic Universe Earth is. But this is why you should, stick to, Hydra and stuff. And yes, the Flag Smasher is from the comic books, but not little Carly, who was almost the exact same villain as she was in Solo. But again, Sam did not defeat her. Sam gave up and let a woman shoot another woman, because we can't have men fighting women, but they insist on having women as villains, as supervillains with superpowers, who somehow can go toe-to-toe with Bucky and Sam, both military trained, Bucky's older than everyone. Bucky is the most powerful superhero in this show. And not just based on his powers. It's also based on his training and his age. He's wiser than everyone else, especially if he was fully aware of everything he did when he was being mind controlled. Yet, that's one of the problems with Bucky is they still have him acting like a 30-year-old when he really should be acting much, much older and much different. I do believe there's one point where he went, I went, what? Why would Bucky go, That little girl kicked your ass. Poole added, Sam rejects wokeness and becomes Captain America and beats Antifa with the shield. Even U.S. Agent is a good guy in the show. He is, but they didn't present him that way. But I think Tim is trolling here. And why not? Why not? But Sam, I think by saying do better at the end, I think that's an embracing. He's embracing wokeness. But again, I don't know if Tim's trolling here or not. The replies from woke lefties proves my point. The show is about open borders, leftists exchanging terror to remain open borders. Sam rejects wokeness and becomes Captain America and beats Antifa with his shield. Yeah, I think he's trolling here, which is kind of funny. He's trying to work him up a little bit. Poole previously made similar claims in a video uploaded to Timcast IRL back in April. And I need to hear the context of that, which I haven't done. Maybe we'll check it out later. In the video, Poole explains, if I could offer you up, all of you guys listening, a TV show where a guy takes an American flag and brutally beats Antifa and rejects a bunch of woke ideas, he's repeatedly told by people about how you shouldn't wave the flag, that's the white man's flag, and that you got to understand. Well, that was his journey to become Captain America, and it never made sense considering that he joined the Air Force, which is essential. I mean, you're putting on the flag when you join the military for this country. You're willing to play a part in defending our country, and sometimes that is violently defending our country, which I don't have a problem with, by the way. Depends. It depends on the situation. Depends on the situation. I'm not big on meddling in other countries where we don't belong. I believe it's up to those countries to figure their own shit out until it directly affects us. He adds, so you have this black man who says, nah, I like the flag, and picks it up, and then there are these people who we should have open borders and we're going to smash the flag. Well, Sam supported that in the end, though. That's the problem. So this is where I think maybe he's trolling. Again, I got to hear the tone of his voice. But no, he fully supported the flag smashers and what they did. He just didn't like what they were doing. He didn't like the violence. So that's where the mixed messaging came in for me. It was a guy wearing the Stars and Stripes suit that looked like he was about to hit the slopes, made by Wakanda, the isolationist ethno-state, and he was supporting globalism while representing the country. It was a mixed message, for sure. And there is a Senator Strawman. Doesn't the costume look a little puffy on him? It looks like it's one size too big. Definitely one size too big. And yeah, a fuller mask maybe? I don't know. There's a lot of white in that costume. Just pointing that out. Anthony Mackie plays a black man who questions whether or not he should wear the American flag. And ultimately, he had decided to do it, which he did. And they even show a scene where there is another black man who says, no self-respecting black man would wear that shield. Anthony Mackie says, I know there's people who would be mad at me for wearing this, but he wants to fight for this country, and he'll be damned if anybody's going to tell him he can't do it. And then he's literally wearing the flag, chasing down open borders extremists. It falls apart where he chases down the open border extremists, at least on the Carly angle, when you could have stopped all of that a long time ago, because Baron Zemo said, you're going to have to eventually kill her, and that's what they had to do. The whole problem was that Sam was working for the power broker at this point. The power broker got to kill Carly, and he had no idea. So they introduced Sam as kind of a moron Captain America. Again, mixed messaging here. That's where the trouble comes in. You're still in the hero business while deconstructing the hero. It was a mess. The show was a mess. But yeah, I would. Again, I have to hear the tone of his voice. But if he's serious, I mean, that's his opinion. I disagree. There were certainly things in there that I'm sure pissed off woke Twitter, because everything does. They're never happy. That's not the point. They don't want to be happy. They just want to be pissed about stuff. There's a lot of people who are completely moved by the show. I just found most of it boring and contradictory, like I said, and I'll go over that in my review. I will go over a lot of that in my review. I think the absolute rejection of the Oscars is something that Hollywood, I don't know if they're going to come to terms with it or not. We've given them these messages before. This was a pretty big one, though. They lost well over half of their audience, and in the key demographic, it was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath. They lost almost 70% of their audience, which means only geriatrics and people who work in Hollywood are watching these award shows anymore. And I just think they're a thing of the past. I think they're done. I think there's something that worked in the 20th century and they just don't work now. I don't think a lot of people want to see the elite being self-congratulatory and jerking each other off. Especially when Regina King opened up the show with, I know when we get preachy, we're going to reach for your remote, which we did. And then she said, no amount of fame and fortune could make me, I'm paraphrasing what she said, not scared for my son in this country. Well, then by all means, go somewhere safer. She did. Again, I didn't put it in my video. You can look it up. Her house was in some magazine. So I was curious. I said, Regina King's house. She lives in the Hollywood Hills. Nice big old house. Nice big old driveway. In a neighborhood safer than the one I'm in right now, which is pretty safe. But you know what? I share her concerns because I wouldn't let my kid walk around the streets of San Francisco, the progressive urban utopia of San Francisco. There's no way in hell I wouldn't want my adult kid who's 6'3" walk around the streets of San Francisco at night alone. And the reason it's not safe is because the cops don't arrest anybody anymore. So if you're talking about that, sure. But I don't think that's what Regina was talking about. Maybe she's still waiting for season 2 of Watchmen. Keep waiting. Keep waiting. Oh, I forgot to do that here. Let's do that now. Let's do that now. I knew I forgot something. There we go. Let's get this bad boy moving too. Does that work? All right. There we go. All right. But I think it was a huge win for fans, and they didn't have to do anything for fans, for customers, for and a good, and it being more than half sends the message that we have been trying to send forever. I put in a little bit, we went over it last week, the entirety of the Bill Maher statement, who I still think is an elitist twat, but he was absolutely right, and he was using all of our talking points. That, we just wanted our escapism back. That's all we wanted. We didn't want politics put into certain things. Absolutely, you can make your 12 Years a Slave and all of those, films that are either original stories or historical stories with your Hollywood spin on them. Make those all day long. But when it starts getting into comic book superhero television shows and films, that's where we've seen failure after failure after failure. So for those of you who haven't read the comic books, Falcon Cap, which is what he's called, or Black Captain America, was introduced in the comic books back in 2016 or 17. Part of the all new, all different Marvel, and they had to have him give up the mantle because it didn't work. This is when they made Cap a Yahtzee. They made him a member of Hydra. That Captain America still exists. By the way, he's locked up. Then they brought Cap back, and they had like Mark Waid write him, and now Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing him, and the sales are shit. They're shit. Now, there is still some hangers-on out there and completists. I used to be one of them where I just, automatically bought a Captain America issue because I wanted to have the complete run. So I'm a completist. And there's a lot of people out there. But, these sales are in the tens of thousands in a country of 330-plus million people. I saw a New York Times article. I can't, you got to subscribe to the New York Times, so I can't pull it up. But, the headline says it enough. When blackness is a superpower, right? And then they brought up all the changes and all the race swaps from the last few years, and they brought up some original stories, which is fine. Do all the original stories you want. Nobody has a problem with that, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the constant swapping of mantles and characters, and all the comics they had a little video that they presented were canceled. Ironheart, Black Captain America, the Black Superman, which was just, I think, a mini series. I didn't even read it. So, of course, they have the one that's coming out right now, that bounding into comics. Brian Hitch got into a little bit of trouble. We can definitely look at that. That's Brian Hitch reminded everyone why there is a revolt in comic books. I got to give him credit. He told everybody this, and that's better than just a certain group. I'm just trying to spin some positive on this. It's not a very good thing to do. It's not a good idea to tell your audience to fuck off. DC comic artist Brian Hitch responds to criticism of Infinite Frontier #1 variant cover by telling fans to fuck off. And it's over this this hairline right here, which, it ain't great. But it's just Twitter giving you shit, dude. Like, see, that's a little better, right? And Hitch is a good artist. He's fucking slow. He was the artist for the Ultimates, which was a great comic series at one time. So Calvin Ellis is the Superman of Earth 23. He did a variant cover. Then he got some responses. Kryptonian barbers ain't shit, apparently. Well, it's very difficult to cut the hair, Kryptonian hair. You have to, I think, what do you have to use? Kryptonite? Like laser razors or something. The art is good, but that hairline, though, shit's pushed back higher than LeBron's. Yeah, he got a little upset. That's his response. Guys, gals who are still working for DC and Marvel, well, I mean, I could give a shit right now. And honestly, I've never heard anything out of Brian Hitch before this. I don't think he's ever been out there yammering on about politics and stuff. Maybe he just had a bad day. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that would just piss me off. As a comic shop owner, I remember seeing Gail Simone mix it up with fans all the time. And I did have people come in and cancel her title because they couldn't stand her act on Twitter. And this was way back in the early days, 2010, 2011. And they also noticed her books started coming out slower and slower. Infinite Frontier. I don't know. That is not an inspiring cover. I'm looking up at Darkseid's crotch. What has happened to comic art? Like even Hitch's stuff. I mean, you're pulled in tight on this picture. Okay, so that's almost not fair, but it doesn't look that great. He's done much better work. I mean, it's not bad, size, proportion looks pretty good. Let me see. How are those arms a little long? It looks all right. But way to take something iconic and just mute it. Like the S as a yellow S on red looks terrible. And the shadow. There's just way too much on. I mean, got to ask yourself, Hitch, what would Bolin do? Yeah, that looks like there's a black hole opening up in his head. Yeah, don't tell your fans to fuck off. It's not advisable. For one, now you look like you're thin-skinned. You look a little weak. And I've never heard anything bad from this guy. As a matter of fact, I heard EVS praising him about a few months ago. So yeah, it's kind of a surprise. But this is why the comic sales are dying. And listen, you've been hearing spin over the last year, like comic sales are doing great. And as most of you know, they are mixing them in with manga sales and children's books sales now. So yes, everything is trending up in manga. I don't know how Scholastic is doing now, considering they don't have any students trapped in schools in a lot of states still. Buying any of these books. So, yeah, I don't know. But I know manga is killing it. Absolutely killing it. And good. Good. Destroy the American comic book industry at this point, as far as the main two publishers. It's sad. I saw a Razor Fist tweet yesterday where he was kind of lamenting about baseball. He's a big fan of baseball, and baseball's gone woke. And he's like, I got to admit, it's like really tough to separate myself from this lifelong love I've had. And yeah, it was the same for for me with the Chargers when they left. But, for Marvel Comics and DC Comics, I mean, this was a habit I had. When did I have my first pull list? My first pull list was at Thrill Books in Encinitas. It was a comic book that was on comic book shop that was on Highway 101. And a gruff old guy owned it. He was cool as hell. He's the guy who's like, read this, Watchmen. Handed me Watchmen. Read this, Dark Knight Strikes Back. Read this, Killing Joke. So I'd say my first pull list was in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, 87, 88, when I first heard that you could subscribe to a comic book shop. I'm like, what? So I gave him my name, and you had to put down like a $20 deposit at the time. It's getting a little warm in here. Get my air going. And all I pulled was, at that time, it was pretty much all DC except for Spider-Man books. So yeah, I've been, other than those, years I was in prison, since 87 and 88, I was reading comic books. I was going and buying them every week. And even when I was homeless and doped up out of my fucking mind, I managed to get to the comic shop once a week to buy comic books. 'Cause that's all I had. And it's a great habit when you're poor, because they weren't that expensive and they're entertaining and they're collectible. So I managed to keep, I still have some of them to this very day. So it's like the one thing I kept through all of my adventures. So that was oh God, how long has it been since then? 30 some years of getting comics every week. And then before that, I was going to just 7-Elevens and the Cornet newsstands. So this was a habit of mine for 40 plus years that I just gave up, like in one day, based on one tweet from one asshole. I had enough after years and years of seeing all the battling between early Comicsgate days and the creators, the vilifying of Zach, to the point where they were getting Facebook groups and wanted to attack the guy. And that stuff is certainly, it's bled into film and everything else. And, yours truly, I guess, I didn't even notice this. I would call it a death threat. It was just some guy blathering on Twitter. Karma ended up biting him in the ass. We'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, I just gave up this lifelong habit like that. And it wasn't hard. I feel bad for Razor Fist, but it wasn't hard. It was really easy, and it shouldn't have been. It should not have been easy to give up my lifelong passion. But it was Tom King. Tom King tried to cancel Jay Lee. Woke up one morning, decided to cancel him because he did a cover for an artist that Tom King didn't like. And it just so happens Jay Lee was on his way down here to San Diego from LA to bury his dog that died. And he found out that his livelihood, his career might be in jeopardy because some douchebag, Jay Lee is an Asian man, by the way. Not that it matters, but stop the Asian hate. Tom King decided to wake up one morning and perpetuate the Asian hate and tried to cancel this guy because he took a job, because somebody said, hey, will you do a cover for me for money? And he said, yes, I would like your money, sir. I will draw a cover for you because I am in the business of drawing things to make money. Tom King is a punk who used to work for the CIA, which explains a lot that's wrong with this country, hiring shitheads like that. And Tom King, there was a lot of clapback on Tom King, rightfully so. But that was it. Az and I were talking about it, and we were just like, fuck this. We're done. Not giving these people money anymore. And now it's starting to hurt them. And good. And I'm sure a lot of them would love, especially the writers, would love to go over and start writing for manga. Yeah, not going to fucking happen. And then eventually Tom King got fired from Jack Kirby's Fourth World. Is that what they were calling it? Oh, New Gods. It was New Gods. They were calling it New Gods. I don't know why I was thinking Fourth World. So he got fired from the New Gods. Him and Ava DuVernay or Duvarnish or whatever her name is. And I wasn't sorry to see that. Again, a little small victory. Now, Marvel's movie, by the way, I don't know which came first. I don't know if DC came out and said, we're going to do a Jack Kirby film directed by, Ava DuVernay. And then Kevin Feige says we're going to do an Eternals Jack Kirby film directed by Chloe Zhao. It is kind of funny that the rivalry between the two has bled into the films at this point. Unfortunately, the rivalry in the comic books led to great comic books. We would have a little while where Marvel was being groundbreaking, like we were talking about it yesterday. The early 80s. Marvel was just killing it in the early 80s. So DC had to get their shit together. So they did Crisis. Batman Year One brought Frank Miller over. He did Ronin as a graphic novel. The graphic novels started coming in, and then we had this brilliant era of DC. And it was going back and forth. And now they're just trying to outwoke each other. And now they're trying to outwoke each other in the films. I hope Chloe Zhao is the best choice for a Jack Kirby movie. I would think that if you're going to take on something Jack Kirby, at least have a working knowledge of what he meant to comic books. Turns out Zack Snyder will probably have the best interpretation of Kirby. That so far, it is the best I've seen. I'll give Taika Waititi a little credit for Ragnarok for the look. A lot of that stuff did look Kirby, and he did include Kirby Crackle into his movie. I'm not too sure about the tone. Kirby would have been much more serious about the tone. But as far as the look, it was cool, except for Valkyrie, which was shit. Absolute shit. But we go back. It was easy for me to give up this lifelong fucking habit. So today, what did they tweet out? It was yesterday they tweeted out. Let's go to Twitter and see the latest thing that Marvel has given us. It's wonderful. It's absolute. It's. I want you to think fashion design as comic books. Now, Mrs. Nerdrotic might actually disagree with me on this one, but now this isn't as bad as Snowflake and Safe Space, or is it? Apparently, there's going to be an XMen Gala. An XMen Gala. Where's the one from yesterday? That's Excalibur, folks. Oh, no, we're going to have to talk about this. This is cringe. Oh, wow. We're going to talk about that next. Where is that MODOK series is crap. There we go. Fabulous. It's the Hellfire Gala. I'm not I have no idea what the context is, but I'm not missing Marvel Comics. I'm not worried at all. There would have been a time if, when I opened up my comic shop, I would have been very worried that, man, what am I going to do about this new release conundrum? That I'm going to have to sell new comics from DC and Marvel. I don't have to worry about that anymore because I have seen many working models, functioning comic stores that don't sell new releases. They're actually doing pretty damn well. You know what? I'm going to go so far as I'm not going to sell pop vinyls either. I love how they're pushing this. He's not even Captain America in the comics anymore. They still can't get it right. Yeah, here's Samedi. Here's Peter Samedi. Hey, Peter. What's up, buddy? Silly Marvel. This is the X-Men. Look at that. Oh. Let's just stare at that just for a moment. Is that our Adams? Yes, that's our Adams. Fuck, that's tight. Now compare it to this. R.I.P. Marvel. I mean, what the hell is going on here? They look like they're going to go to, I'm going to sound dated as hell, like a rave. They're going to drop some E, listen to some fucking techno. Steph. That's a good one. Yeah, it's not looking good, folks. Does that make you want to run back to the comic shop? Go fire up your subscription. Get your weekly funny books. I used to love Wednesday. You know, when I started my store, on Wednesday, I'd lucky if I was lucky if I got 10 people. I was scared to death. I took on the store. I was happy. And then this real sobering thought hit me as oh shit, I have to actually work and make this happen. And I've never run a business before. So the first thing I did was I called somebody. I called somebody, got this little small business for dummies book that I read at the store and didn't even finish. And called some people and how do you do this? And through hard work and determination and a lot of support, from my great customers, it worked. And then we had a line of people on Wednesday. It would be insanity, absolute insanity. From open to close, the store was packed with people, lines outside the door, books selling out in the first hour, and I triple the orders, and it's still I just couldn't keep up with it because comics were good. They were not filled with a bunch of identity politics here and there, but dude, it was just about telling a story. And now look at it. I can't entirely blame Hibbs, and I haven't driven by the store since I moved to San Diego, but I would drive by the store once in a while on my way back from the gym. For a while, I couldn't even look at it for a while after I sold it, but then it got better. And I'd drive by on a Wednesday, it'd be empty. Now, was that Hibbs or was it the books? Probably a little bit of both, but what I always wanted to do, see, I as the comic industry changes the rules and moves the goalposts, all I ever wanted to do was sell funny books, comic books, pamphlets. I didn't even like selling trade paperbacks that much. I eventually stopped buying them from Diamond, and I only used a used trade policy, and it worked great. People would sell me their trades. I'd give them some credit, and I had 5 or 6 filled bookshelves of trades, good ones, out of print ones. But I just wanted to sell comic books, back issues, toys. That's all I wanted to sell. That's all I was interested in. That's all I cared about. I didn't sell Magic cards. I didn't sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I didn't sell porno comic books. I didn't do gaming of any kind. I had retro video games in there, but that was it. And it worked. It was fun. And I think I could still do that. But nowadays, you need the Magic card. And nothing against Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh at the time or whatever. I just didn't know anything about it, and I didn't have time to learn. Maybe if I eventually hired somebody who could be a specialist in that, I'd be open to it. Absolutely. It's not like I don't like it. I just don't know anything about it. And I figured I would sell the things I knew about and was passionate about. And it worked. I couldn't be passionate about this. Couldn't give a shit about this. Let's go to you guys. Boom, boom. Look at this. We got the super chats back up. Once again, shout out to Ryan Kinnell and Jay, Drunk 3PO, who came by and visited me in my home yesterday. We hung out for hours last night and had a very good time. So it was nice meeting Jay in person. Very tall fellow and a very nice fellow. Very good, a good guy. So subscribe to both their channels. They're both great guys. What do we got here? Let's go. I see WG there. WG. I don't know why it's not pulling up, but I can read it right here. Oh shit. We got $100 from WG. He says, Gary, burrito fund. Enjoy. That's gonna buy a lot of burritos there. WG. I mean, burritos are only like $5. I'll get a carne asada burrito today. My stomach's growling already. There it is. You can see it now. Those new costumes look like they're going to Hogwarts Ball, right? Except Hogwarts it actually makes Hogwarts look cooler. Red Lion for 10 Australian dollars. Thank you very much. Thank you, WG, for the $100 once again. Rock, brother. You rock. Now that Drunk 3PO left, did you have to fumigate? No, but my action figures still won't talk to me, and a couple of them were crying in the corner. Hopefully by tomorrow I'll have them calm down a little bit, and they'll tell me, show me where the Drunk 3PO touched you. That's what I'm going to be asking. Welcome to the Jaloja level. How do I say this? Mobouge. I'm just going to say Mobouge or Mobouge. Welcome. We have a member stream tomorrow morning. It's going to be right after my business phone call. Miro Cage for 250 RSDs. I don't know what an RSD is. I don't. We'll just say a foreign peso of some kind. Hi, Gary. I start watching the stream, and I was like, man, Gary forgot to turn on his mic. Then I noticed the volume is down on my phone, Boomer. It's okay. I forget to turn on my mic. I would rather you tell me than not. Shark dentures for $2. How do you fail with a captive audience? Go woke. That's exactly it. All of their excuses die with, we don't have a lot to do, but Hollywood is watered down now, and what should be absolutely a Renaissance period isn't. Now, there are many out there, and I listen to them. I listen because I listen to my audience. There are many out there who are saying, hey, there's some great indie films. But there's so much shit. You have to take time to find them. Hopefully these indie films find a place to go. I would recommend YouTube. Don't put yourself behind a paywall right away, or find a way, you could monetize it through ads or something. I don't know. Be creative. But, putting up an indie film and then burying it on Amazon where, only like film buffs are going to go and look for it, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. So somehow, and I don't have an answer for this, we got to find a way. And yeah, like if any of you see some brilliant indie film, like, let me know. I'd love to see it. There is still good out there. I loved the end of Drinker's video on the Oscars. Drinker's a great fucking YouTuber. And what he said at the end was, the reason we're still talking about this, the reason we're still doing this is because Hollywood made some great shit for a long time. And alls we've ever asked is to listen. But usually with the insecure, they end up not listening. They want to blame you for their problems when we're just pointing out stuff. Sure, some of the criticism is ugly, but the vast majority of the criticism is constructive, very constructive. We tell you exactly why we don't like the stuff. And I thought it was interesting that on, I was looking at TV series finale. That's where I look up my the TV ratings. Susan Layton found that for me from 1428 Elm. And that gives you up-to-date ratings on shows. They had a poll for all the viewers, and they said, what's your number one show? And it was Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois, as voted on by viewers on TV series finale, is the number one show. Why is that? Well, it's good. Why is it good? Isn't filled with identity politics. Isn't filled with divisive politics. It's just a damn normal TV show. I would say in 2015, it would be your average show. But you put it in the context of 2021, and it's amazing. Stop listening to the Access Media, which is basically your employees, because they're telling you what you want to hear, Hollywood, or not. It's entirely up to you, but the Oscar ratings are just the first thing that's going to happen to you this year. Be prepared, Hollywood, for a lot of wake-up calls. Piano Dean. Hey, Gary, check out my Piano Dean version of your theme song. I mailed you the link. Hail. Oh, we will check it out before the show's end, my friend. Thank you for the $5. Thanks for doing that. That is cool as hell. I love it. Hang on a second. Hey, Gary, I enjoyed your interview on Chrissy Meyer, says Dances with Dogs for $2. I enjoyed it too. Chrissy's great. We're going to have her back on Friday Night Tights soon. She's funny as hell. Cool beans, that one. Miro Cage, welcome to the Jaloja level. I appreciate it. We have a member stream tomorrow, which you can join. So my member streams, yes, they're you got to become a member, and you have to be Jaloja and higher. But once a week, sometimes twice a week, I do a StreamYards. You come in, 15 minutes. We rotate people out. You can ask me anything. And I'm going to put them on Nerdrotic Live from now on. Like all the shows are going to go on Nerdrotic Live once they're done. They are fun. I love doing those things. Olaf Van S for £2. Gary, check your lighting. Bright and colors right. There's not much I can do about that right now. It's got to do with, I still got to get my 3-point lighting, but you're talking about the blinking on my video game? Yeah, I can't do anything about that right now. But try not to get a seizure. Lawrence Goldstein for $4.99. Hollywood needs to do something they forgot: how to make good and entertaining movies. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And if they don't do something, they're going to pay. I mean, this obviously was going to be a bad year for them. But, you know, Bill Maher wasn't wrong. The films they rolled up were all depressing as hell. And the reason they did that was to show how good they were. Hollywood wanted to show you, they didn't give a damn about entertaining. They just wanted to show you what good people they were. And aren't they good? They're so good. The Disney production on the Disney Network gave a Disney movie Best Picture and an animated Disney picture Best Picture. And then they forgot to do like the one obvious thing is give Chadwick Boseman an Academy Award at the end. And they wouldn't let Anthony Hopkins. He wanted to do a speech. They wouldn't let him. Nicholas Horton for £10. Hail, Gary. Finally bought my car doing action, except it's a Lego minifigure, and HBO is so desperate trying to win back Game of Thrones fans after they fucked up season 8. Yes, they are absolutely desperate because Game of Thrones was a cash cow. It was making so much money for them, and it's making none. So they're hoping against hope, and we'll talk about it in a second. But it's House of the Dragon, it's Fire and Blood that fucked up Game of Thrones and Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring. Falcon and the woke Soiger. All hail all. Love the show and glad Doomcock sent me to you. We must keep fighting the good fight always. Well, thank you, Doomcock. Thank you, Brandon, for the $5. I appreciate that. And thank you, Nicholas Horton, for $10. Tyrannus Cygnus. Arian. Well, I don't know. Scottish Nerd, thank you for the $1.49. Dude, once again, you have no idea how thankful I am for you. Just had knee surgery and have been bored as hell. I look forward to this every day. Hail, G. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Dreary nitpicker. Well, I'll do my very best. I will do my very best. And I'm glad you're healing and you finally got your knee surgery, and that must suck. All right, let's go to, we'll get back to those in just a second. Again, Dreary nitpicker, get better, buddy. Oh, wait, we got Josh PK for $2 says, hail, Gary, first super chat. Keep up the fight. We'll be gentle. Okay, we're going to get to LaVar Burton. LaVar Burton. And his support of cancel culture. Talked about this a little bit yesterday. Once I find the article. There it is. Am I surprised we got a take like this from LaVar Burton? No, I'm not. Do I think LaVar Burton knows anything about the cancel culture that goes on Twitter? Probably not. He probably knows it all from his daughter, who I heard yesterday was used to work at Rooster Teeth, which kind of says it all. Of course, does he have a right to his opinion? Yes. But this opinion is dangerous because you are supporting the mob rules. But I'm not surprised. Star Trek supports this. Star Trek supports this every day. Star Trek, well, you guys don't know. is how much. I mean, I don't know now. Because of the coof, I haven't talked to some people in a while, and I haven't really checked back in on Star Trek much because it's just gotten so lame. But there was a time they really, really hated yours truly, Doomcock, Midnight's Edge, and they tried their attempt to counter it was to get a network of influencers to go out there and not like attack us. No, it was to counter us with talking about Star Trek and how great the new Star Trek is. Unfortunately, that failed because the new Star Trek is trash. It's garbage. So anybody out there trying to say it's good, I think the best you can get is, well, this might be that guy's opinion, but I disagree with it. Everybody, everything has its fans to a certain extent, but to the general audience, Star Trek has never broken through. Alex Kurtzman's Star Trek has never gotten off the launching pad. He's always coming out with new things. And what have we heard? I did a tweet about this about a month ago. We always hear that Star Trek is going to return to its optimistic roots. Every series they announce and every series they come out with is a new and different way to be nihilistic, filled with postmodernism. There's always either some cataclysm or the Federation is in disarray because they're unable to produce episodic television that can tell maybe an allegoric story about some aliens while still presenting the Federation and the crew as this, as what Gene Roddenberry wanted. Now, listen, Gene Roddenberry he wasn't perfect. He didn't always get what he wanted. And some of the best parts of Star Trek were stuff that Gene Roddenberry didn't want. Gene Roddenberry is not a god. As a matter of fact, I think it's interesting that if cancel culture existed when Gene Roddenberry was alive, he would most certainly have been a victim of it. Gene Roddenberry would have been Me Too'd out of existence, and we wouldn't have a Star Trek. But his vision was definitely let's present a future where everybody on Earth, all the humans and the aliens and part of the Federation, we're all working together. We're all working together because that's the best way to show it that it's possible. Yes, it's fake, but at least you give an example of, wow, this thing is possible. Now we have this ugly, divisive, poisonous Star Trek that purposely writes into their scripts stuff that they think will piss off part of their audience. Those are words from Michael Chabon, not me. Posting the Star Trek communist on their website, where he actually stated that the path to Star Trek is through overthrowing our government in a communist revolution, while he takes selfies of him sipping blue juice or whatever. Star Trek actor Lavar Burton defends cancel culture, believes it has been misnamed, and suggests renaming it to consequence culture. Now, my favorite part about this video, which I think he's got it in here, we'll listen to, is what the hell is going on with her hair? Is Lavar... Sounds like I just came up with this real hot take. Consequence culture. Oh, it's on The View, so yeah, we'll just read it. We don't need to hear him say it. During the interview on The View, well, that's part of your problem, Star Trek actor LeVar Burton briefly touched on the topic of cancel culture, mentioning that he believes the phenomenon has been misnamed, revealing that he prefers to call it consequence culture instead. Burton's hot take on cancel culture movement was expressed Monday when The View co-host Meghan McCain asked the Star Trek actor about his opinion on the recent the Dr. Seuss books. Discontinuation of Dr. Seuss books and how cancel culture affects works of art and artists. McCain said, we have talked on the show about the decision by the Dr. Seuss estate to discontinue 6 of the books that feature racist imagery. What do you think of that controversial decision? Blah, blah, blah. He says, interesting, because I just, for the Seuss Foundation, did a voiceover for a video that they have put together to remind us that Dr. Seuss is more than simply a company that's decided to put up a couple of books on a shelf to take them out of that rotation. Burton explained, because he was paid by them. He continues, the man, Theodore Geisel, is responsible for generations of wholesome, healthy, wonderful, imaginative, creative content for children of all ages, and I think we need to put things in perspective. Yes, and I have said that before. Here's where things get spicier, as Burton openly admits that cancel culture is a term that he calls a misnomer and defends it, that the movement... and revealing that consequence culture is the term that people should be using in its stead. The Star Trek actor proceeds to explain, I think we have consequence culture, and that consequences are finally encompassing everybody in that society, whereas they haven't been ever in this country. What? I need a further explanation of how ever. You need to explain ever. Ever means ever to this very day. I think there are good signs that are happening in the culture right now. I think it has everything to do with new awareness on people who simply unaware of the real nature of life in this country for people who have been othered since the nation began. So, because other people have been othered, it's okay to other people because they have never, and I mean never, received any consequences. That is some dim, broad, generalized, adult pretender shite. Now, cancel culture is a broad term in it of itself. We're talking about Dr. Seuss books here. Dr. Seuss decided to cancel itself, the foundation. Instead of maybe just discussing, hey, this is the way things were back then. And just because this is the way the things were back then, it doesn't mean that person was evil. Context, empathy. And what you do is you let the wolf in the door. So once you start doing this, you're going to start doing it for more. Guess what, Lavar Burton? What if they start getting rid of Star Trek episodes? What if there's something problematic in a Star Trek episode? You might think, that could never happen. Well, I can think of one Next Generation episode that they'll probably get rid of. And you never know. Because you let the wolf in the door. Instead of being adults about this. As far as cancel culture, as it pertains to like Gina Carano and others who are othered for their political beliefs. Well, that's without you making a distinction, that's what you just supported. And Disney supported it too. I'm sure these corporations they're going to love it until it affects them directly. And it will. It will come for them eventually. I guess that's the only thing. I personally, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the destruction of everything because cancel culture is It's like in the Longoliers, those little things that ate reality. That's what cancel culture is. Stephen King's The Longoliers. It's gonna eventually take everything down. This is what happens when adult pretenders go off script. You know, do I think LeVar Burton is an evil guy? No, I think he's been a rich man for a long time. Or we'll say a well-off man for a long time. I can't say if he's super rich. But he's been a working actor in Hollywood for decades, since he was basically a kid. Let's see if I get busted for putting this. There we go. Can you guys see it? Yep. All right.
In terms of cancel culture, I think it's misnamed. That's a misnomer. I think we have a consequence culture, and that consequences are finally encompassing everybody in the society, whereas they haven't been ever in this.
Sure, some elite, some rich people have gotten away with absolute murder, but we're not talking about them. Cancel culture isn't going after, it's going after some of your fellow actors for sure. But it's also going after regular folks. Remember, cancel culture took out a woman who made an AIDS joke, right? An AIDS joke. And by the time her plane landed, her life was ruined. That's cancel culture. That's what you're supporting, dude. Because you aren't making a distinction. And you're saying things like ever. The reason I point that out is in a couple of groups, a couple of rehabs I've been in. When you're in a counseling session, you can't use words like ever when referring to problems, or these aren't words you can use. Because there's never an always, and there's never an ever. That's the only time you can use them. There's always shades of gray, and there's always distinctions. So he's talking about Dr. Seuss here. Dr. Seuss cancels himself. I am totally against it. It's up to the company to do what that company wants. But specifically knowing Ted Geisel through my dad, one of the best human beings who ever lived. And at least LeVar Burton said, hey, this, look at it in the terms of this guy got millions of kids to read. But no, let's take him out for this. But in the same breath, you're supporting cancel culture and othering, and then pointing out othering, which is cancel culture, which is happening to conservatives, Republicans, centrists, classic liberals. Anybody left a Pol Pot? Pol Pot. Holiday in Cambodia.
This country. So I think that there are good signs that are happening in the.
I can't listen to this. Shut up. Stick to when the adult pretenders make the words on their own, they just have a lot of trouble. They have a lot of trouble. Stick to the words that are written for you by the professional writers hired by the multi-billion-dollar multinational corporations and approved by a diversity committee or an algorithm created by Gina Davis. Oh, my God. I forgot about that. Gina Davis created an algorithm to make sure scripts are woke enough. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. Jesus Marimba. Sparks 1524. The great Nerdrotic notices all nuance, nimbly knocking pathetically pretentious pretenders, pontificating ponderously on life while leading long lines of lively listeners to the promised land of loudly loosed laughter. Oh, well, thank you, Sparks. I don't know about great. I don't know about great. I'm adequate. I'll stick with adequate, but thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the $20. P. Gombe for €5. Hail, Gary. How was your evening with Ryan and Jay? Was Gina that Gina whisperer? Well, we talked about drunk 3PO meeting Gina Carano for 4 hours. I'm just kidding. Only for like 2. No, it was great. It was great. Uh-oh. I just knocked down all my base cables here. Sorry. They shouldn't be by my feet anyway. It was great. He talked a little bit about Gina, but he was talking about his trip, and we talked about their trip to the San Diego Zoo. Yeah. We ate some spaghetti at an Italian restaurant that I just picked because I used to go there with my dad, and I haven't gone to this Italian restaurant in 2 decades, and it was still good. It was still good, but it was the only one I could remember. Thank you. Darius Munchausen, thank you for the popcorn. I appreciate it. Shogun Gaming, thank you for the 14 Danish krona and the phallic unicorn. And Jake D. Oh boy, Jake D for $1.49 phallic unicorn. Please check out Jake D's channel. He is an up-and-coming YouTuber, a good guy. He reviews television. He reviews film, what there is of it. Oh, man. So there was some drama that I was unaware from. And again, shout out to my modrotic and also producer of Ocean Man, the great Problem Being, good guy, and to Noel from TARDIS Zone. I didn't know this was going on. I had no idea this was going on. I was on vacation, and quite frankly, I can only pay attention to certain things at a certain times, and my head has been in the MCU for the last 2 weeks, so I haven't really dipped in on the Doctor Who fandom for a while. The Doctor Who fandom is dead. Like, it's fucking gone. It's in disarray. It has become the sickest fucking place out there. And you could say this for all of fandoms, but this was the best fandom. That I never, like, people were so fucking cool, but all the cool people are gone. They're gone. And we're left with psychopaths, people with problems. People with problems. So I had my take on Christopher Eccleston, which is an old take, by the way. It goes all the way back to New York Comic Con. And I did a video on an escalator with Jeremy, ripping Eccleston a new one for showing up out of nowhere with his hand out to the Doctor Who fandom. And that's how I felt. You know, Eccleston came out and said, hey, Eccleston's the 9th Doctor, if you don't care about Doctor Who. Formerly 9th Doctor. There's no more numbered Doctors. Eccleston, I have nothing personal against Eccleston. I'm just speaking my mind when it comes to having your hand out to the Doctor Who fandom when you shun them for a decade. You wanted nothing to do with them. You wanted nothing to do with the 50th anniversary. I was misquoted by somebody, by the way. He did not ruin the 50th anniversary. He could have ruined the 50th anniversary, but the great John Hurt, may he rest in peace, came in and freaking killed it. And we got another Doctor out of it. So it all ended up good. I love the 50th anniversary, by the way. Love that show. Watch it all the time. Fuck, when Tom Baker comes in, gets me every time. So again, apparently there's a guy named, do I want to bring up his name? Nah, I don't want to bring up his name. He's having a hard enough time. So there's a guy who ran a Doctor Who podcast, and apparently he threatened to body me. So I had to look that up. Boomer Gary, I had to look that up. I'm like, what does that mean? Well, it means kill. So I didn't take it seriously. I don't take it seriously now. I won't take it seriously tomorrow. I don't think he really meant it like that. But he didn't like my take on Christopher Eccleston. I repeated it that I think Christopher Eccleston is kind of full of shit. I think he's out with his hand out. And then Christopher Eccleston came out and confirmed what I said. He's all, hey, this Doctor Who thing is just a fucking job. That's the only reason I came back is I needed money and I wasn't getting, well, he didn't say this part, but he wasn't getting a lot of work. Now, he's had some mental health issues. He's had an eating disorder. He's been very public about that. I think it's great that he's public about it. I think it's great that he shows he overcomes it. And you can both that can separately be great, and you could still be kind of a dick for coming back to the fandom with your hand out. Now, if you did some free stuff or I don't know, a way to ingratiate yourself with the fans, fucking do a live stream with some of them. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. Like, he really didn't want anything to do with the Doctor Who fandom at all. Doesn't mean he's a horrible guy. He just didn't. But now, then he needs work. He comes back to Doctor Who. He's working for Big Finish. And I would be excited as hell about this if Big Finish wasn't as woke as hell. I would. I love the Ninth Doctor. I think his performance was fucking brilliant. But this guy, it doesn't matter. Takes my take. Whatever. It doesn't mean I don't watch Chris Eccleston stuff. I fucking love him. I think he's a great Ninth Doctor, and I got his hot toy up there, and and go ahead, make your money. At least he was honest about it later. At least he said, "Hey, this is just a gig. This is how I pay my mortgage and feed my kids." I'm like, okay, I can respect that. But somebody didn't like my take, so he wanted to. He threatened to body me, and again, didn't even notice it. It was a couple weeks ago. Well, it turns out that now the guy who made that threat is being canceled. Again, he did a smaller Doctor Who podcast, and I never heard it, but he's been the cause of a lot of trouble in the Doctor Who fandom. The one threat to me was nothing compared to what he's done to others. And I usually don't talk about this stuff because I don't want to give them the time of day. I don't want to shed any light on their despicable behavior. But I do want to point out that never trust a male feminist. So, of course, this guy was all about Jodie Whittaker. He's all about the male, he's all about feminism. While he was stirring it up with Doctor Who fans like Problem Being, like Noel. Well, he just got canceled because he hit on his lesbian friend. So now his career is over. Maybe he gets redemption later on, but as it stands now, he's taking a break from Twitter. And never trust a male feminist. It happens every fucking time. Every fucking time. I hope the guy is, for one, I don't know how bad his, I think if you hit on somebody, I don't think you deserve to lose your job. It depends on how creepy it was, of course. But if you're like, hey, you want to go have a drink, that kind of hit on, I don't think you should lose your job over that or your gig or your whatever. As much as I don't like you and, I still don't think you should lose your livelihood for asking a woman out on a drink or for a drink or something like that. Now, if it was like, hey, you want to have a shag? All right. Well, I don't know. It depends on how you ask. I've never come out and said that. That's not anything. That's not what I would do. I admire the direct approach a lot, but especially, yeah. But apparently he knew she was a lesbian and still asked anyway. And this is a horrible offense. But if you flip it on that, it's not for some reason. So I would say everything is a case-by-case basis. Now, if he was truly a creep, which I think some things are starting to come out, but they're unsubstantiated, so that's why I don't want to say his name. That's why I don't know, because I don't fucking know. But if it gets creepier than that, then yeah, you should go away. But too many times we're seeing people who just hit on some women at a party. And most women know how to handle this. Again, it depends on how you do it. But if it's just, hey, what do you say? I don't think it's worth losing your life over. The kind of thing LeVar Burton is supporting right now. I hope he has no skeletons in his closet. But yeah, I saw a problem being in Noel talking about this on their live stream, and yeah, I as horrid as that guy has been, depending on what he got canceled for, I'm still against cancel culture. As much as I want to laugh my ass off and, you know, as my daddy always said, remember to kick a man while he's down. Wise words. No, my dad didn't really say that. But I do think things have gotten worse, and that's why I'm just so happy I don't get involved in this shit. As I was digging down the little rabbit hole on this, I'm like, God damn, what a waste of fucking time. For one, the guy was screeching at me, and I wasn't even hearing him. Like, he didn't even get, like, I had to, I found out about the bodying threat through another person. So you didn't even get the threat right, buddy. You know what? Here's an idea. Stop supporting shitty TV shows, and then maybe we'll get better TV shows, and then we won't be arguing with each other, or we can argue with each other over normal shit, like plots. But instead, you need confirmation bias. God, you need more than confirmation bias in your TV shows now. You need to see, people now need to see themselves, a perfect reflection of themselves in a TV show, and they have to have the exact right approved politics of that day, and that is a rule book that changes every fucking day. Three boomer moments in one stream. How lucky are we? Gesture of Roanoke for $2. I mean, is it technically a boomer moment? I guess I should have ad block, but ad block interferes with streaming. So I don't know, but that should be better. But I'll take responsibility for it. If you guys get a chuckle on my at my expense, that's a good thing. Gary cancels himself more than the SJWs do, boomer. The SJWs don't really cancel me that much, to be honest with you. I'll end up in an article here and there, but especially the rewriting Ripley one, that was hilarious. Because we got this Gary guy. He says Taika Waititi wants to ruin our mythos. Nah, he actually said that. And if you actually watch my video, I'll say it again. The MCU is not about female characters. It's about how you present the female characters. It's about destroying the male characters, and it's about an agenda. If it was just simply about putting more women into Marvel movies, I don't have a single fucking problem with it, because I've been reading those comics longer than most of you assholes in Hollywood. The comics filled with women. But you make all the women the same now. They're all insufferable, smirking little biatches. They're all Tessa Thompsons. Tessa Thompson has two facial expressions, smirk and annoyed. And that's interesting because she annoys the audience. There we go. I see Dan Vask. Dan Vask. Voice of an angel. Voice of an angel. But like a rugged angel. Oh, you got it all wrong, Gary. It means he wants your body in an 18 plus kind of way. Oh, I'd rather have a death threat. I mean, hey, if I'm not against that, I don't do that stuff. I'm a super straight guy. I'm a uber straight guy. Uber straight. Thank you for the 20 Brazilian pesos. Yeah, you might be right, Dan. I was so excited. I was like, man, I don't think I've had a death threat. It wasn't real. It was just him screeching. I think he said, I want to body this nerd. And then he said I was unloved. And then he said I was using the Chris Eccleston thing for income. No, nobody gives a shit what I think about Chris Eccleston's return to Big Finish, except for 5 or 6 Doctor Who fans out there. And bless you, by the way. But most of the people in this audience don't know who a Christopher Eccleston is, what a Big Finish is. They are aware of Doctor Who, but they've never seen it. That's the vast majority of everything right now. And you know what? There was a chance where I would have recommended to these thousands of people Doctor Who, because I did it every day at my comic store, and I was making Doctor Who fans every fucking day. They'd sit there buying their comics, and I'm playing Doctor Who in the background. All of a sudden, they stop, and I catch my customer staring at the screen for 10 minutes and going, what is this? I'm all, it's Doctor Who. It's pretty good. You should go check it out. It's on Netflix right now. But now, I'd love to be helping sell shit because I was good at it. So one thing I excelled at was selling fucking comic books. Remember that scene, if you saw it, in High Fidelity? When Jack Black, I can't remember what band, but Jack Black walks up. He's all, I'm going to sell 10 copies of, it was, why am I blanking on his name? Star of the movie. He's all, I'm going to sell 10 copies of this today. And he puts it in. They wait a couple of minutes, and then 2 people come up to the counter. What's playing right now? I want to buy this. Well, we used to do that shit at the warehouse when I worked there, and I did that with the comic store every day. I would just pick a comic I liked, and I'm going to sell these fuckers today. And all I did was talk about it. I didn't say, you need to buy this book. I just said, oh, I really like this comic, and then I started telling the story a little bit. And people would go, yeah, let's check it out. It's that easy. It's not rocket science. Believe it or not. I know a lot of comic shop owners want to make it sound like it's fucking rocket science. It's not. Rebecca Gold. What's up, Ian? For £5. Talking common sense as usual, Gary. Yes, Doctor Who is dead, but there's always a classic anew. Look out for Mega Who. Mega Who. Yeah. Oh. Look out for Mega Who. Ian, explain what a Mega Who is to me. I probably should know it, but it's not clicking in my brain right now. Hail, Gary. Actors are paid to play a role. They are all, you could just put it in the regular chat, Ian, please. Hail, Gary. Actors are paid to play a role. They are all competing for the role of most woke without realizing people aren't going to pay for their show. Says Punkwaddle for $5. Yes. Because they're so disconnected, and this is strange because they could be very connected to their audience. And I don't mean just most adult pretenders either have somebody posting on Twitter for them, or they just post and they don't read any responses. So they're not connecting in that way. They're not really talking to people. Like I said in my video, I have the great honor of doing this every day. So I talk to you guys every day. I hear what you think. I read comments. I read emails and comics. I hear what you think. And for the most part, not everybody. Listen, most people want to give everything a chance. They still want to give Hollywood a chance. But in increasing numbers now, I'm fucking out. I'm done. I'm supposed to be having fun here. I just want to have fun. I don't want to get a fucking headache watching Doctor Who. I don't want a fucking headache watching Star Wars. I don't want a fucking headache going on Twitter and then seeing another person that I admired their work tell me I'm a fucking asshole. I was talking yesterday. One of the streamers I admire was reading a review, and in that review, they talked about red hats, all the red hats being racist, basically saying, hey, if you wear a Make America Great Again hat, you're a racist. That should have been called out immediately. Like, no, not everyone who wears a red Make America Great Again hat is a racist. As a matter of fact, the vast majority of them are not. The vast majority of them are not. But this narrative gets pushed every fucking day by Hollywood and the mainstream media. And I don't care if you agree with the people who wear that hat or not. You can disagree with them all day on their policy. But now we're just calling everybody racist and everybody Yahtzees. Saw it on Twitter today. I wonder if I can find that tweet again. It was a meme, and it was basically saying, I want to keep politics out of the workplace. And some gender studies guy came in and said, well, that's how you get a bunch of Yahtzees on your payroll. So now saying you don't want politics in your TV show or at your workplace is now an alt-right dog whistle, because we're sneaking into your communities. We don't want to talk about politics, so we can sneak in. And so tell me how this works. Let's play this all the way through. If I don't want to talk about politics, how am I going to be convincing you to come to the dark side if I can't and don't want to talk about it? Mind control, maybe? Mind control? Yeah, because Yahtzees never wanted to talk about politics. For one, they don't exist. They do not exist. And I'm talking about in grand scheme. Sure, there are some neo-Nazis in prison. There's groups of them here and there. Maybe a couple of thousand in the entire country. There's actually more trans people than there is actual Yahtzees. But if you read a comic book, if you listen to the news, if you watch your latest movie, there is one around every corner coming to get you. And remember when the classic liberal used to clown the people back in the 70s and 80s? Man, God, Monty Python did a skit on this. You commie bastards! They used to clown they think there's a commie around every corner. Well, there was more real commies around every corner back then than there is real Yahtzees now. Mr. Dino Sock says, love your shirt. Thank you very much. This glows in the dark. Gates of Moria. Khazad-dûm. Cynical Lindsay for $9.99. I don't think LeVar Burton understands that cancel culture can and will come for him and his fellow actors. All it takes is one opinion outside of the cathedral worldview. Ask J.K. Rowling. Yeah, J.K. Rowling is, she's sure turned around. Hasn't she? Yeah. It will come for one of them eventually. Absolutely. And no apology will be enough. Because your consequence culture, Lavar, is punishment culture, if you want to rename it something. They're just all about the punishment. They are the witch hunters. I'd say that when someone comes out in favor of cancel culture, they are ignorant of its danger and need a taste of that medicine, says Darth Milk for $5. Chances are it'll come, my friend. So you're not wrong there. Chances are it will come. All right, we're going to get to, I got to get to some donation side. Let me get to the right mouse here. Here we go. Yeah, man, that lighting. There we go. That little blinking thing, now that I notice, it's bugging the shit out of me. What is that from? That must be from the lighting across the shelf. I'll just have to kill it. Donation history. Here we go. All right. We have Hardwick Benthau for $1. The fact that Valkyrie, Black Canary, and Carol Danvers have all been in movies recently, but Catherine Winnick didn't get cast as any of them, especially Valkyrie, right there with you, buddy, is a cinematic injustice. Every one of those roles went to someone less qualified than her. Yes. Katie Sackhoff should have been Carol Danvers. For one, she's the right age. Carol Danvers needs to be a woman, a full-grown woman, not a little kid, especially when it's a 20-something who acts like a 12-year-old, who has no fucking charisma or presence around her at all. I love the character of Carol Danvers. See, Hollywood perceives power, this is Hollywood's disconnect. They perceive power through strength and intimidation, and that's what they want to present women as. That's what the new intersectional feminism is. We want to be intimidating like a 300-pound guy would be. Well, you're not going to be, unless you're a 300-pound woman who's, yoked up. And that's pretty rare. But you want it to be a little girl. Well, then show us. By all means, if you're a talented enough writer, then show us. Show us how that can be intimidating. Instead, we get Carly, we get Bree, and that's been my stance on her. I know what she said about, I don't care about white men. I've said my piece on that one. She's just horrible for the role, and Marvel fucking knows it, and they're stuck with her. So they're going to do whatever it takes to try to make her work. I would say yoke her up a bit, put about fucking 30 pounds on her. It still wouldn't work because her voice isn't good. For one, she doesn't have the right voice to be, Captain Marvel, according to Kevin Feige, is Marvel's Superman. Chainsleman says, joke warning. I like my coffee like Kathleen Kennedy, cold, bitter, and leaves a stain when left too long. That's exactly what my coffee is right now. It's cold, but I'm going to have some. Oh, that's bitter. Oh, Jesus. Oof. Thank you for the $5, Chains. Fellow Four Eyes for $5. Please check out Arc Tunes. Chuck Dixon, Brazilian comic artist, Super Prumo, and other artists are producing new hero comic books, SF, fantasy, and more daily on archaven.com. Yeah, we talked to Chuck. And we'll talk to him again on Real BBC. Have you read my Army Hammer email yet? Hardwick Benthau, I have. Thank you for the $1. I have. It was a long one. But I read it. I knew some of that stuff, but not all. It's not stuff we can get into in this live stream, though. Hardwick Benthau for $1. Tony should have used the snap to send Steve back to 1945 to use his knowledge of the future to rewrite history, Days of Future Past style, by saving Bucky, stopping Hydra infestation, and setting up ways to nip Loki and Thanos invasions in the bud. Yes, and it would have fucked everything up. It would have. That's cool. It would have been different, but no. They should not have done the 5-year blip. And we talked about it yesterday. I thought Az came up with a great solution. The sacrifice should have been Tony's daughter. Black Sabbath Slayer for $5. Should Willem Dafoe and Steve Buscemi do more roles with graphic nudity? I think so. Okay. I could live without it, but I'm not against it. It's just I don't go to the movies to go, God, I hope I see William Dafoe naked. It's not something that I've ever thought I would say. Paola. Oh my God, where have you been? Welcome back. Hi, Gary. Happy to know you had a great time with Ryan and Drunk 3PO. Look forward to the member stream. I hope you're there. I was wondering where you are. I haven't seen you in a while. Ryan's 2 Pixels of Pleasure for $5. He says, hail. The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews. Oh, this is going to be good for $1.39. Watch soccer last Sunday, Gary. You would have hated it. The shirts the players were wearing, they had the NHS logo on them. How woke was that? I don't know. What's the National Health Service? I don't know about your National Health Service over in the UK. Loquacious Primate for $3. Hey, Gary, sorry I haven't made any member streams in a while. Just been at work, but I have been keeping up with your content and just wanted to say hi. And you're awesome. If Vegas happens, I'll probably be there. How is the Picard review? The Picard review will be done before Vegas. Vegas is most definitely happening. X-Ray Girl is looking for places, and so is Mrs. Nerdrotic, and we'll have something for that soon. No, Vegas is happening. The only way Vegas doesn't happen is if a meteor falls on Earth and we're all dead. Then we won't care. But Vegas is happening. And I've got a great idea on that, by the way. All right. And then we've got, I think we've got it. I saw a 99. There it is right there from Jedi Shredder for $99.99. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Celebrities have never been shy about spouting their opinions, but I was always able to separate the art from the artist. Me too. Hashtag me too. It just makes it that much harder now that the content itself is being so heavily woven in with these lessons. Thanks for being a fantastic outlet. Jedi Shredder, thank you. I appreciate the $99.99. I am truly, truly sorry what has happened to your Star Wars. I never cared if Leonardo DiCaprio wanted to blather about the environment. I never cared. Because I know he's been an actor and he's been rich almost his entire life. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So let him blather. It's fine. But when they start using stuff that's meant for fun I mean, what's next? Are we going to go on roller coasters and they're going to have like little signs telling us where to vote? I mean, that's pretty much what it is. When you're filling the Falcon and Winter Soldier with politics, and then for one, people are accepting these as like some deep political lessons. Look for my video on this. And I'll just point at, all you have to do is point out, nothing's deep if you're contradicting yourself and you're being a complete fucking hypocrite. We all make mistakes. Okay. I understand that. I make mistakes all the time. We can all change our mind, but to constantly fill our shit with politics, for one, deny it was happening. Remember, that was the first one. Deny it was happening. Then the next one, after they got tired of that excuse, was it was always there. And now it's, why are you such a Yahtzee? Our politics are right. Even the ones we can't get right. Even when we can't stay on our own message in our own TV show. Brandon Welsh, for $5. I harangued with young Ripa today about this. Pronounce the High Father's son's name that he traded with Darkseid. Eric pronounces it wrong. FNT. We all pronounce shit wrong once in a while. Listen. How many of you, when you were reading your comic books and you never listened to an interview, how many of you got Sal Buscema's name right? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right now. Sienkiewicz. How many people got Bill Sienkiewicz's name right? It doesn't matter. I was calling Thanos forever. I still do. He was Thanos to me. Do you want to know why he was Thanos? Because it was spelled with one N. But we, when I'm reading something for 40 years and I'm like, I hear like, Shang-Chi is Shang-Chi. I thought it was Shang-Chi. I'm still probably going to say Shang-Chi. Chris Gore for $5. What's up, Chris? How's it going, brother? Hope things are well. We love Chris Gore, formerly of Attack of the Show and DVD Doomsday. Wore my comic shop shirt one time live on the air, which I'm eternally grateful for. Oh, Chris, man, those bases that we traded, the big bat symbol and the Superman symbol, that's where my Muckle my life-size Superman and life-size Batman was on. Well, those are still at my comic shop. I don't think Hibbs will sell them back to me at a reasonable price. I would love to fucking have those back. Love to have those back. But I don't think Hibbs even wants to speak to me at this point. But it made me think about it. But I did. You gotta tune into Real BBC next week. But yeah, so Chris Gore bought the bases to these. They're called Muckle, life-size Batman and Superman, and there were mannequins made in Germany. And I bought them off eBay. They sent them over. They were in pieces. That's why I bought them, because they were in pieces. Then my buddy, who worked at a body shop, put them back together meticulously, repainted them. So I got them at a pretty cheap price. But Chris wanted to buy the bases to those, and I'm like, fuck, I'll give you the base. And it's a giant bat symbol and a giant Superman symbol. And we traded. We just did a little barter. At Comic-Con. It was great. Ed Starr for $100. Ed Starr says, I am taking a break from work to throw my support to you, Gary, and the whole Nerdrotic family. Why, thank you. The Nerdrotic family appreciates it. That includes Nerdrotic the Tall, Nerdrotic Jr., and Mrs. Nerdrotic. Or Lady Nerdrotic, as Young Ripa calls her. Lady Nerdrotic. Not another dime. Thank you for the thumbs up and the $5. I appreciate you. Darth Mix says, for $5, everything I used to love is disgustingly misused and or ruined forever. I am simply done. It hurts too much. Let Hollywood die. Kill them if they have to. Yeah, I don't want it. I mean, I don't blame you for saying that. There's still good out there, but it is high. It is fucking time. You know, I hear all the time there's good people at Disney. There's good people at Lucasfilm. There's good people at Disney. There's good people at Marvel. We need to hear from you now. Right fucking now. Not yesterday. Not when you sack up. You listen, you're worried about your job. You're not going to have a job. You're not going to have a fucking job unless you start speaking up and telling some of the fans telling all the fans that they matter. We need to hear from you now. Time for some of you to reach down in your pants. I'm talking to the men out there, and understand that you have testicles and you need to fucking use them metaphorically, and understand that there's a woman in Hollywood who's got bigger testicles than you do, and her name is Gina Carano. So get your dough asses up and start speaking out, or be out of work. And don't come out later going, I was with you guys. I get emails all the time. I'm with you guys, but I can't say anything. Why not? Well, you'll lose a shitty job where you're not allowed to speak your mind? Respectfully, you can't go to work and, tell people to fuck off. But occasionally want to say, like, just in passing, if you say you support a president, you could get fired? Is that where you want to work? Sounds fucking miserable, man. London 19657 says, recently discovered your channel. Yoda, man. I'm British. Sorry. You don't have to be sorry for being British. I love the British people. I'm an Anglophile, man. I am obsessed with your country. For the longest time, your television was better. I think most of the time your actors are better. Your English is better. Your politics have been pretty fucked up lately, especially the oppressing part. So that's a little disappointing. But I did like the, wanting to be on your own thing. I did like that quite a bit. Hunter Vex, second time donating. My bro showed me your channel. Oh, Hunter Vex, thank you. I appreciate you, and thanks to your brother. Welcome. If it's your second time, I'll be gentle. Gary, going to meet fam in Palm Springs area late May, early June. You doing any meetups? Would love to nerd out on punk rock and comics. The Invisible Man for $5. I would take a trip out to Palm Springs. There's if the comic shops, I got to look right now. Sorry, folks. I don't know if the comic shops are still around. Let me see if they're there, because there was a couple of really good comic shops in Palm Springs. Palm Springs is just over the hill. It's about an hour away. A little over an hour. Not bad. I love the drive. Comic shops in Palm Springs. Because I thought there's Desert Oasis Comics. That's the one I like. And they're open. Good. Okay, yes, we'll go. Desert Oasis Comics has a killer dollar section. So I'll go. And Mrs. Nerdrotic can go and thrift shop. She loves to do that. The new XMen looks like they're going to an anti-hero vampire rave hosted by their mom, who fully supports their identity's fake name for $5. That is good. That was good. Yeah. Pup Shepherd for $5 offers hugs We will make it through this. We are stronger than the special snowflakes. Our minds are that of superheroes, strong and determined. Oh, absolutely. We will win. One way or another. And if that's walking away forever and saving a lot of money, okay. Or shit changes, or there's a giant alternative independent industry, or it just fragments. And if it fragments, Hollywood's kind of fucked. That's where it's, it'll be great if you like living off of gigs. I'm a big fan of the gig economy. I love the fact that you can fucking fire up an app and go deliver food for a little while and make some money, and then go jam with your band for 3 hours, and then you might be able to make a little bit of money from your band. So you're not on this 9 to 5, 40-hour week schedule that takes giant chunks out of your life. And listen, I did it for decades. I think if you're out there hustling and it's all in your hands, I would love that opportunity. Like the harder you work, the more money you make. That's exactly how it works. The harder you work, the more money you make. The more money you make, the more comfortable you are. The more comfortable you are, the happier you are. But it's not the answer to everything. Obviously, it's not the answer to everything. But it certainly helps to feel comfortable. Like I can pay my rent. Or I can at least pay the rent of my room or my apartment or my house or whatever it is. It takes a lot of fucking stress off your mind. I know where my next meal is coming from. I think it's really important that you have a hobby that you love. Even if it's a job that you don't, then have a hobby that you passionately love, and it makes the job easier because it gives you something to work for, obviously. That's what I did for years and years and years. When I made my own comic book, which you'll never see, I did it because it was fun. I didn't expect a single person to buy it. But I dedicated myself to that for like 2 straight years. It was great. Gave me purpose. Couldn't wait to get home and draw it and write it. And my friend co-wrote it. We published it. We went to a couple of cons and, sold a few copies here and there to people we knew. Wasn't great, but it was fun as hell. So happy I did it. We need hobo soup comics created by rival woke soups with storylines exposing their hobophobia and class supremacy. Another angry hobo. Yeah, well, we have Hobo Captain America, though. They have Hobo Captain America. Eric Weinberg for $5. Hail, Neurotic. I just got the second poke and I feel like shit. First good news of the day. You are alive. You are live. Appreciate the chat. Oh, no problem. Appreciate you and the chat. Sorry you feel like shit. I'm glad you got the poke, though, for you. Me? Only when I have to. And it's not anything. Isn't it weird? People have to make selfies about it and stuff. Only when I have to. I like to travel. I like to go abroad. It really disgusts me that I have to go abroad. More than you'll ever know. Weston 487, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Cisco Kid says, hail mods, everyone in the chat. Gary, hope enjoys the stream. Hope you enjoy the stream. I'm enjoying it like crazy. Have a great one. Thank you, Cisco Kid. I love talking to you guys. The MCU can stop handing out medals of honor like their D&D PowerPoints. Walker had 3. Just stop it. They're just showing how little they've ever understood about serving. Yeah, that was, I don't know much about it either, Frankie. Pickle forks for $10. But I heard like this season was particularly stupid. If you guys have examples of how like fucking dumb it is, please email them to me at GaryNeurotic.com and I will put them in my video. NDP $14.92 for $5. Unfortunately, it's because Japanese comic books are just so much better in terms of quality and story. This is true. You know what other comic books are good? Like fucking great? French comic books. French comic books are, some of them are fucking fantastic. Valerian. Good shit. Sorry, the movie kind of sucked. It really sucked, to be honest with you. Would love to see It's a Gundam back on Friday Night Tights. Consider it done. I think we need to get him back on. It's been a while. Love Papa Gundam. Great YouTuber, funny as fuck. Subscribe to It's a Gundam. I think he's got more subscribers than me, but he should be like at 1 million. But he gets a little spicy. He doesn't bend the knee. He doesn't fucking bend the knee. That's what I like about him. Primer for $5. Brian Hitch's work with Warren Ellis on The Authority was great. Absolutely. Absolutely. Such a shame to see him make a poorly thought out reactionary statement like that. There will be a day when season 2 of Watchmen is released. It will be the day Winds of Winter comes out and Kathleen Kennedy is fired from Lucasfilm. That's good. Yeah, last time I checked, Kathleen Kennedy is in charge at Lucasfilm. And we were told her exit would be imminent, but she is still in charge at Lucasfilm. Hey, Gary, why do you think Feige hates Bucky Winter Soldier character so much? He has treated him like crap beginning in Civil War. Fiat Justicia. Oh, wow. Fiat Justicia Route Calum. Shit, I don't know. I thought he was treated fine he's the Winter Soldier. So they adapted that from the book. I thought it was fine until this show. And then they treated the most, you want to know why? He was a white male character. So they didn't want to put him in prominence, especially when they had another white male character in John Walker. The bigger question is, why were they such assholes in the show? So yeah, it is Kevin Feige treating him badly. I think Kevin Feige played the long game and baited and switched all of us. Mad respect for what he did up until Infinity War. Mad respect. I thought that Kevin Feige should have quit or become I don't know. I thought he should have quit at the end because he would have went out on top, but he's going to stick with it. And it's going to be like Bob Iger. Remember when Bob Iger first said he was going to quit Disney and didn't, but should have, because he would have gone out on fucking top. But he hung around too long, and now his legacy is in fucking shambles. They're going to try to blame it all on Bob Chapstick, but it's not his fault. Same thing's going to happen to Feige. He's going to stick around too long. He's under Brie Larson's spell. I have no idea. Brie Larson has pictures of him. I have no idea. It's bizarre. No matter how bad it gets, these garbage shows will eventually end up being getting rift-traxed MST3K, and then they'll be worth watching. These guys are masters of recycling garbage. Also, apparently, Az has no clue what MST3K is. He doesn't? Yeah, he does. Maybe he just didn't understand that. Thank you for the 1999 Octopus Prime. But he's in the UK. Maybe they didn't show it over there. But we'll make him aware of it. I'd rather watch Brie Larson fart in a shoebox for an hour on her YouTube channel than watch minutes of the Oscars, says Frozen in the 80s for $10. I almost would have too. Ian, thank you for the $10. Ian Aldrich for $5. Tim Pool also thinks that paycheck to paycheck families can just pick up and move from rioting cities. Yeah, they can't. They can't. Tim's young. He's seen a lot of shit for a guy his age. But I mean, like, he also has to fill a lot of time, and he also says a lot of stuff. Yeah. Ian, families like ours cannot just pick up and leave, especially with kids. All right. There's families, just a husband and a wife can't just pick up and leave their career and go. And then if you factor in kids and schools, it's a year-long process. And then we still have to work during that process. And then forget us. I mean, I've told the story a lot, but think about the other families in my family situation. Times it by 1 million. Because that's what it is. We now have 1 million families who are thinking about leaving and moving their kids. We had California losing seats, which is good for the country. New York too, because people are leaving. This is bad for Hollywood as well. Two of the biggest, one of the most important theater chains in LA, which is the heart of Hollywood, obviously, went out of business. The ArcLight went out of business. That is in their hometown. That's the home court advantage. It's gone. And it's a sign of a failure of an ecosystem, right? So say you have an ecosystem and it's like the frogs, it's certain plants start dying off, and it shows how an ecosystem is failing. Well, the ArcLight, which is a bougie theater, of course those are going to fail because they cost more. They have more amenities. And people are going to, that's the first thing that was like, I don't need to pay for an overpriced meal or an overpriced drink at my movie anymore. That's going to fucking make me want to drink more anyway. I can just drink at my fucking house. Listen, I understand people in Hollywood don't want to hear it. It's a scary prospect of your industry dying. But your industry is dying. And it's dying for a lot of reasons. But the death is made much faster with the poison of politics. Hollywood should have absolutely come out of the coof on top of everything. Go look at how Hollywood performed during the Depression. There's no reason Hollywood shouldn't have performed just as well, if not a lot more, a lot better. Hail, Gary, I wasn't able to finish watching your night show, but now I can't find it to watch the rest. Paisley Gemini, I made that one only available for my members. I got into some salty talk that I didn't feel like I wanted to re-upload on Nerdrotic Live. So that one's only, I won't do that often, but I did, my members need some exclusives. So once in a while, I'll give them a live stream, show them a video early, and then they also get the member streams. But tell you what I'll do, Paisley. I'll put the audio version up on nerdrotic.com. I'll give you the audio version of that. So keep an eye out for it later. You can listen to all of these live streams on Spotify, iTunes, or any iTunes mirror. You can, of course, subscribe to Nerdrotic Live. I probably should repeat that more. I don't want to sound too repetitive, but that's where all of my live streams go when they're done. I make them unlisted here. I re-upload them on Nerdrotic Live. I also have Nerdrotic Daily, which I run with Perry Chan. He's an equal partner on that channel. And he's been fucking killing it lately. Hail Perry Chan. Rupert Patterson for $9.99. Do you think the very poor writing for Falcon and Winter Soldier contributes to the multiple dubious interruptions about what is happening interpretations, the dubious interpretations about what is happening, particularly because the writers don't know? Well, they don't know anything about the military, but I think they came at this at one side of the aisle, but then the world changed when this show finally got released. So you could look at, I kind of see what Tim's doing. Well, I know what Tim's doing. Tim's trying to flip the script and trying to piss off the SJWs. I totally get what he's doing. I see what you're doing, Tim. But he's wrong at the end. And he might know it and not give a fuck because he's too happy pissing off the SJWs, and that's fine. But if you look at the government, when you watch something from Hollywood, you know where their perspective comes from. So they're looking at the government like, Trump was still in charge. But if you look at it with the current government, you could certainly flip the script. Hollywood has been in love with the immigration allegory for the last 4 years with obvious reasons. Do you think they're going to stick with that? They have put immigration allegories in almost everything in pop culture. Fucking Terminator Dark Fate, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Discovery, fucking Captain Marvel, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I could go on and on and on how many immigration allegories have been shoved into our pop culture specifically. And it's all because AOC was crying in front of some fake cages. Remember, it was just a parking lot. I'm not saying that there weren't, they weren't keeping people from coming across the border. But that AOC imagery shit, they managed to put it into The Boys season 2. But will they address it the same now that we have somebody else in charge? Of course they fucking won't. They'll forget all about it. Zemo broke himself out. Is he secretly a woman? Says Gesture of Roanoke for $2. He probably had help from the power broker. Zemo was good. Zemo was a good character. They kind of made him a meme with him dancing. That was fucking lame. And that's the kind of shit that I don't like either, and has nothing to do with politics. Is they're hiring these people who aren't fans or haven't been fans for long, and they don't take it seriously, and you can tell. The one thing I won't fault Zack Snyder for is taking the material seriously. Drunk 3PO said, "I'm sorry, but I took the Indiana Jones figure." Did you? Oh, you fucker. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Drunk, for $4.99. He made me look, though. I'm checking for my Hot Toys. Did you even see the Hot Toys one, Drunk? I can't reach it. It's way over there. What happened to Iron Patriot, says Christian Jones for $2. Yeah, wasn't that a black man wearing the stars and stripes? Yeah, I'm putting that in my video. Budgie and Avery Birds for $5 says, Gary, do you have any merch? I want to buy some. Yeah, we have hoodies available right now. You got to go to Instagram.com/nerdrotic. And you can contact Mrs. Nerdrotic via the DMs there, but you got to follow me on Instagram. Also, if you go to nerdrotic.com, I have a t-shirt available on Mixed Tees. If one of my Modrotics could put it in the link in the chat. And Mixed Tees makes the shirt. It's like green and black. It's like a military green and black with the logo. The hoodies look pretty good. Mrs. Nerdrotic had them made. We'll have beanies and stuff and more. And we're going to, this Friday, we're going to offer up some Friday night, our first piece of Friday Night Tights merch. It's something simple, but I think you'll like it. Phantom Mercenary for $1. Thank you for the $1 super chat. I appreciate it. Man of War 665. First Avenger remains my personal favorite. I love it. It's slowly becoming like there might be a time, Man of War, where I think First Avenger is better than Winter Soldier. I love First Avenger. Such a great movie. Kit Kat for £2. Who is the face on my new blue badge? On your new blue badge? I don't know. What is that in reference to? Kit Kat. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something that's really obvious, but that's my life. That's my life. Let me know in the chat, Kit Kat. Just because I appreciate you, Gary says Nederland Egg gives us £5. I appreciate that. I appreciate you too. Critical Ramblings. I suppose you could argue that Falcon Winter Soldier is anti-woke in the sense that it's so terrible it's killing the viewership of woke Marvel for $5. Yes. I think you're right there. It's not anti-woke. But I think Tim's just playing. Hey, Gary, just picked up the second issue of Berserker. Can't wait to read it. Oh, it's out? It's out? Oh, today's Wednesday. I got to go to the fucking... Maybe I'll go down to Southern California Comics. Looking at the time right now. I might do that. I need some supplies anyway. Thank you, Primer. And enjoy it. Berserker is fucking awesome. Maybe Az and I should do a review in the next couple of weeks. We got a lot of stuff to cover. And we can't do another 6-hour show, Az. I'm burnt from yesterday. I'm forever going to separate Geordi and LeVar Burton because I refuse to allow him to take the TNG and my second favorite character on the show away from me, says Anti-Derivative Jill for $5. Good for you. Geordi's a great character. Obviously, a better character than LeVar is a human, or at least on that subject only. Hail, Gary. First super chat. Keep up the fight from Josh Peck. I think I already read this one, but let's do another. Oh, yes. Roland S. Have you ever seen Blake 7, old UK TV show? Good stuff. Yes, I have. Somebody was kind enough to send me the complete Blake 7, and I have gone through it, and I owe a review. I'll probably do it on a membership stream, or I'll do a members only video, or I'll put it up on Nerdrotic Live. But I loved it. I fucking loved it. Hail from Brazil, Gary. I love your show. Cancel culture is getting bad here too. Sad. Oh, Bulgar. Do I say that name? Bulgar? Man, Behemoth. Bulgar Behemoth. Thank you for the 5 Brazilian pesos. I appreciate it. Darth Gorbag for $7.77. Men hitting on women is the first step in human mating ritual, which prevents our species from extinction. It's not just normal. It's necessary. It is. It is. And I promise you, the majority of women still want it to happen. Runs with Phantoms for $10. My first super chat to you. Well, welcome. We'll be gentle. I have an original sci-fi vision that needs to be manifested, but I don't know how to write on a pro level. Fandom Menace and Comicsgate has good writers. To whom should I pitch my idea? Both. Just say you have a treatment. And if anything, there are writers out there who will consult with you, but they do charge. And I don't have a problem with them doing that, by the way. But there's people like, I don't want to offer him up for work because I don't know if he might be too busy, but like Script Doctor I think he'll look over stuff, but a Script Doctor charges for his services and should, because he has a skill and he has, that has value. But if you're just looking to pitch something, I would just ask around, go to Discord groups, get involved in conversations on Twitter. But my recommendation is become part of the group first. Don't lead with, hey, I've never met you before. Will you look at my story? Get to know some of these people, and then maybe you'll find the right person from your story. Thank you, Runs with Phantoms. Gary, I was a lifelong Doctor Who fan. However, I don't even watch the older episodes anymore. I even removed my collection of hundreds of Big Finish Doctor Who stories from my iTunes this past week. Oh, shit, Stone Dog. Yeah, that sucks. I have a giant physical collection of Big Finish that I got off eBay. And I don't want to listen to that anymore. I'm pretty fucking pissed at Nicholas Briggs. But I'm still able to watch old Doctor Who. Because I know Jonathan Pertwee wouldn't have wanted anything to do with this shit. I know Tom Baker wouldn't be down with any of this shit. I know Peter Davidson would not be down with any of this shit. Patrick Troughton would not be down with any of this shit. And you sure as shit hang on. I just got distracted. Sorry. Sure as shit, William Hartnell would not have been down with this shit. Why did it jump on me like that? I'm easily distracted, folks. Boop-a-doo. All right. House of the Dragon. Now, I know nobody cares about this anymore, but we did get some. Hang on. Let's see if there's an IMDb so I can get this right. Oh, so House of the Dragon they started to film it, and it's already kind of a woke Game of Thrones. Corlys Velaryon is black. He's Valerian. George. I know there's people out there going, they've never been specific about Valerians. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. They are light of skin. Light of skin with purple eyes and blonde hair. They're very specific. George is very specific. Now, if he wants to say that this character is half Summer Islander, and that's fine. If you want to change it, that's fine. If the guy's right for the role, great. But they've already shown him on the show in an animated series as a white guy. They've already made cards as a white guy. So they've established that he was a white guy. They did swap the race of this character. Will it matter? I don't know. If Game of Thrones had been a success, would I be excited about this show? Fuck yes, I would. Fuck yes. But knowing what I know about this show, which I can't forget, knowing what I know about the book that it's based on, this show is the reason Game of Thrones was a disaster. This show is based on the book that never finished the series that led to Game of Thrones being a disaster and The Winds of Winter and A Dream for Spring never coming out, ever coming out. I know there's people out there who are still holding out hope, and bless you. Bless you. I hope you're right and I'm wrong. Okay. I know there's David Beers out there from Lucifer Means Lightbringer. He's out there holding out the light, the flame that he thinks Winds of Winter is going to come out pretty soon. And again, I hope he's right and I'm wrong. But the one piece of casting I like is Daemon Targaryen, played by Matt Smith. And we got some pictures. Some set photos. That is Matt Smith. It's Daemon Targaryen. There we go. So it's coming out in 2022. And do you care? Here's the problem with this show. The casting is pretty good. Pretty good. It's got Miguel Sapochnik, who was directed Hard Home, which was a great episode, but he also directed The Long Night, which was a piece of shit episode. I don't necessarily blame him. He directed some of the better episodes of Game of Thrones. It's got Ryan Condell, who's a decent showrunner. He's no Dan and Dave. He's not an incompetent ass. This show could be good. It could be good, but do you give a fuck? Because it takes place in a world that ends with fucking Nazi Daenerys Targaryen, Nazi Dany, fucking killing everybody within 2 episodes, and nobody speaking for large moments of time. Mahler did a great super cut of the lack of dialogue in that movie, in that show. But again, House of the Dragon is about Targaryens. It's based on Fire and Blood Part 1. Not even like a complete book. It's Part 1. So they're starting another incomplete book. Are you going to, hello? Are you going to come in or not? I mean, I'm live. Just commit to the bit. Thank you. Yes.
I was waiting for your signal.
No, just come in.
If I have coffee.
Yes, if you have coffee, just come in. Come on. Thought I had my wife trained better than that. Guess she's got to go back to wife school. You ever seen that Man Show? Remember the Man Show? Here we go. So we've got the Daemon Targaryen. And yeah, it just looks like Game of Thrones rehash. So again, here's the problem. We're starting a series on a book that's not finished. There's a part 2. Then B, sorry, that was A. B, this is a story without dialogue. It's a history. It's just this event happened and that event happened. And it's mostly about King Jaehaerys, right? So they only have, it's a bunch of older short stories that George has done before that he put into a book, and then he wrote this huge thing in the middle and then added a little bit. He stopped writing Winds of Winter for this book, which is part 1, so they can make this series. So they derailed Game of Thrones. They derailed a fucking Winds of Winter and A Dream for Spring for a story about Targaryens on Westeros. You're not going to be going to the east. You're not going to be going to the Wall. There's no reason to go to the Wall because there's no White Walkers. This is hundreds of years before they started showing up again. This takes place 100 years before the events of Game of Thrones. It's a Targaryen civil war. So it's going to be stupid with Targaryens and dragons. You're going to have lots of dragons, but they're going to be just fighting each other. Now, personally, I never found the Targaryens that fucking interesting. I thought Dany was interesting. I thought Valyria was interesting in the Doom of Valyria, but the actual Targaryens couldn't give a fuck. But this is going to be all Targaryens, and it's how they basically, it was the beginning of their end. And if you don't want to hear, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the special features on Game of Thrones or heard people talk about it, but the Dance with Dragons is a Targaryen civil war, and plug your ears. I'm going to tell you the end of the show. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody dies. Everybody fucking dies. The dragons die. There's 2 dragons left, and they pretty much fade away, and there's like a couple of Targaryens left. Is that what you want to watch? Again, if there was a bigger story out there, maybe. But just watching another nihilistic postmodern fantasy series where it's just going to be betrayal after betrayal and people just being exquisitely horrible to each other. Now, like, the one thing I like the most about A Song of Ice and Fire, and, you know, I enjoyed parts of Fire and Blood, but it's definitely George leaning into stuff he didn't need to lean into because he was really good at this. See, A Song of Ice and Fire is filled with fucking breaking gender norms and feminism. But the reason people read it, the reason it still has mass appeal is George never sacrifices a character for another. Now, the only criticism that you can actually have about the Song of Ice and Fire, the entire series, is certain women do have some pretty fucking thick plot armor. But they get fucked up. Breen, the beauty, gets her face bitten off. But considering all the draping that goes on in Westeros, certain characters are amazingly left unharmed for the most part. While guys will get their wings chopped off and their heads chopped off and, yeah, but all that stuff's there. But it's a very believable story because they don't sacrifice, like, I'm talking story-wise. Of course, he sacrifices characters. He fucking kills them all the time. But it's not a story. It's a story written by a competent author who knows what the fuck he's doing. So when he weaves in his messaging, it doesn't take over the story. It's very subtle. Or not so subtle, but it's a good part of the story that you can read and enjoy and not feel like you're being preached at because he doesn't make everything the answer. He's pretty even-handed with that shit. I think so anyway. But yeah, so this show is going to be a massive... There's going to be a lot of fucking people who will probably just love this. The same people who loved Game of Thrones season 7 and 8. So there's no dialogue to adapt. At least he has an ending. And the ending is, well, technically no, because the end of the Targaryens doesn't come until the end of A Song of Ice and Fire. So he doesn't have an ending. But for this series, it will end. He has an ending for this. The ending of the Civil War, and it's not uplifting at all. And at least with nobody expected the end of A Song of Ice and Fire to be uplifting, but George said it would be bittersweet. Bittersweet. This is just going to be bitter. It's just going to be bitter. So yeah, so there'll be no there'll be no real world building. You won't go to new places unless they're going to add to the story, but you're not going to go, like I said, to the east. You're not going to even go north to the wall. Yeah, there'll be Starks, and they'll be going around Westeros pretty good, but it's going to be it's Targaryen versus Targaryen. A lot of shit going on at Dragonstone. A lot of shit going on at King's Landing. And no dialogue to adapt, which was the problem Dan and Dave had. There's I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I'll show you anyway, because it's in the article. And that is Emma, who? So Matt Smith is dressed as Prince Aemon Targaryen on Tuesday when work got underway on the hotly anticipated Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, set 3,000 years before the events of the hit HBO show. Dude, Dude, my dude. It's 100. So Aegon the Conqueror got to Westeros 300 years, a little under 300 years before the Mad King, King Aerys, was killed by Jaime Lannister, and Robert Baratheon took over. Or some might say usurped the throne. But I say Robert Baratheon was right, and the realm was fucking doing pretty well under him. But, yeah, it's not 3,000 years. They were thinking of Blood Moon, which was like 5,000 years, which got canceled because it was too woke. The actor, 38, transformed into his character by sporting a long ice blonde wig while shooting scenes on a windy Holywell Bay beach in Cornwall, confirming the Southwest coast will be a key filming location. Emma D'Arcy, 28, who will play Daemon's wife and niece, Rhaenyra Targaryen, is in the upcoming series, joined the former Doctor Who star. That's great. Big fan of Matt Smith, underrated doctor, great fucking doctor. He's still young. He's 38. And he looks pretty good as a Targaryen. I think we got some, there we go. But I don't think anybody gives a shit. I could be wrong. I give this 2 seasons. 2 seasons. With streaming services nowadays, they pretty much commit to 2 seasons. I think it's smart to commit to 2 seasons because sometimes it can be a little rough start. But I think there is a possibility that this would be a competent show that people won't give a shit about because they're so pissed about season 8, season 7. I hear it every day. I think most people are out. They just don't even care. George Moilo for $150. George, on the donation side. The left should put down the can of crazy. Hollywood is pushing many food mags to no longer provide beef recipes so we can go green to save the planet. What? Epicurious is the first. They don't want you to eat cows. Just turn us into cows. Love your show. Hail. Love you, George. Love you, George. And thank you for the $150. Yeah, it's easy for them. You know, they can like survive on kale and stuff. No thanks. I'm going to eat some motherfucking meat. Mexican American here. Could you please work with someone to make Captain Mexico a reality? I love how he got his powers from the Tijuana River. Yes, Captain Mexico and his sidekick Sancho. You know who Sancho is? Well, Sancho is one of the most feared guys in prison, right? Because Sancho is who's keeping your lady warm at night while you're doing time, essay. Job for Sancho. Captain Mexico. I mean, I think sure. I'll do Captain Mexico. I'm sure that wouldn't get me in trouble at all. Shout out to Drunk 3PO for Chris Curran for $5. Shout out to Drunk 3PO and to Ryan Kinnell, by the way. It was great seeing him last night. Black Targaryens only if they're burned by fire, says Antoine Dennison for $2. Yes, he's not a Targaryen technically, but I mean, he's from Targaryens are Valerians. Valerians are essentially, everybody's got their take, right? Everybody's got their symbolism takes and stuff. To me, the Targaryens were always the elves, the Fae, whatever, the elves, not fairies, but the elves. And what this is an elven civil war. They're humans, but they're capable of sorcery. Now, where did they learn this sorcery? I don't know, but they have purple eyes. That's the one thing they left out of Game of Thrones is they have violet eyes, and they all have blonde or silvery hair, and they are light of skin. And the sea snake, who's a pivotal role, is played by a black guy. And obviously George had to approve it. So either he's not Valerian anymore, and that's how you answer the question. You just go, nope, his dad was a Summer Islander or his mom, and as Summer Islanders are black. And they're not the only, there's lots of diversity in fucking A Song of Ice and Fire. That's why they don't need to do this, because it's in the books. It's there. Chris Bertless says Mrs. Nerdrotic is lovely. Glad to you left her out of the kitchen every now and then. Glad I let her out of the kitchen every now and then. Every now and then, Chris, but not often. Today I let her wear shoes. Hey Gary, who shows The Boys and The Witcher? Hey, I'll try this again. Hi Gary, with shows like The Boys and The Witcher bending towards wokeness and the newer seasons, do you think the writers are using season 1 as Trojan horses? Paul Turner for $5. That is a great question. Yes. They don't want to, I think it's part of the immaturity of Hollywood. And in a way, yes, I think nowadays having a popular first season is seen as a mandate. We are now officially popular and we're pop culture icons. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just popular show. And you need to maintain your popularity. Altered Carbon, great example. Immensely popular show. Great first season. Went woke as fuck in season 2, and it failed. Actually, Netflix does this quite a bit. The Umbrella Academy. Fantastic first season. Utterly fantastic. Second season, woke as hell. And now they have a little bit of a problem with an actor. Consequence culture, because eye for eye left none blind. I can't pronounce your name, so I'm going to say Van. We're going to say Van. Thank you for the $1.99. KF for $2. How do I advertise my comic with your channel? Email me. Gary@nerdrotic.com. Pitch me. Thank you for the $2. Audrey CR for 1,000 Chilean pesos. Hail, Gary. Greetings from, Costa Rican pesos. Hail to South America representing today. Fuck yeah. All right, we're going to wrap this up, folks. We got to wrap this up. I got to go to a comic store and buy Berserker #2 right fucking now. I thank you all. If I missed a super chat, it'll be in a square up. The super chat square up is going to be a super cut, and it should be out this weekend. It's long. I know I've been promising it, but I've been just adding to it because I kind of want to get it all done in one, but that's not going to be possible now because it's fucking long. But X-Ray Girl, thank you for your very hard work. She has been great. Eric K., who is kind of the head mod. He keeps things together. Thank you to Eric K. Thank you to all my modrotics. I appreciate you all. We got a member stream tomorrow. Thanks to all the members who joined up. Thank you to George Moilo, who's been fucking sponsoring this channel for a while, and WG. And We will be back live on Friday for Friday Night Tights. And I got to just make sure. Hang on. Oops, wrong keyboard. Damn it. I got so many keyboards. All right. Yes. Friday Night Tights. We're going to have. Oh, hang on. Oh, well, I see. That's why I got to wait. Eric K., I'll be right there, buddy. Not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I've got 2 messages going on. This is why I don't answer. So we're going to have Clifton Duncan, Friday Night Tights. It's going to be a fucking great show. Thanks to Az for that. And we are going to go back to the Super Chats. Hang on. Because I missed one that I need to read right now. I got to refresh once in a while. I got to remember to refresh. I'm going to have some coffee in the meantime. There we go. $500 from George Boyle. What's up? The hell? My God. Hi, Gary. Hollywood once was a Ferrari zipping through traffic, entertaining as hell, and other times a space-aged DeLorean blasting us into the past. Today, they're rubber neckers blocking traffic, honking the wagenda. What is it, a wagenda? Flipping their finger and expecting you to have a Coke, a smile, and shut the fuck up. Kathleen Kennedy is a hatchet hag. Nothing but dry. Hail Nerdrotic. Nothing but dust come from that place. George Moilo. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Holy shit. Tried to sneak one in right at the end there. My Lord. There it is there. So we'll just make sure everybody can see it. Thank you, George. Bless you, George. I appreciate you, man. We're going to end it there. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Look for this to be on Nerdrotic Live in a couple of hours. You could also find me on Spotify, iTunes. Go to nerdrotic.com if you want to get audio, anything. And, of course, that's where I back up all my videos. Right now, it's a free website. It was set up to be kind of like the YouTube memberships is and Patreon is, and it might be someday. But right now, it's just a backup. If you want to like listen to stuff while you're driving on an aimless journey, probably to move out of your state because of restrictions, which wouldn't be aimless. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great day. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
Nerdrotic.com.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. You can go now. God, that's all blown out. What's up with that? Might be my other monitor. So, yeah, this will be on Nerdrotic Live in a couple of hours. It'll also be on nerdrotic.com as a podcast. See you on Friday Night Tights. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather.